Hello and welcome back to Instant Seekh. मेरा नाम है कृष्णा खाहर. In this video we will be continuing with our UGC NET Computer Science PYQ series. आज की इस वीडियो में हम देखेंगे अगस्त 2024 के कंप्यूटर साइंस पेपर 2 के सॉल्यूशंस starting from question number 51 to question number 100. Okay, so without any ado, let's get started. Do join our Telegram channels. Detailed solution of these PYQs and other notes will be uploaded on Telegram channel itself. Okay, so do not forget to join the Telegram channel. Okay, let's start with question number 51. What it states, which of the following statements are true about process control block, that is PCB. Okay, so you might know PCB, each process has its own process control block where its states are saved, okay, whether it is running, waiting or terminated, right, and all other information regarding process. Okay, so out of the following statements, let's check which one are the true. So first one, option A, the PCB contains information about the process state, whether it is running, waiting or terminated. Yes, this is a correct statement. True statement. PCB stores this information, whether the process is running, waiting or terminated. The PCB includes the program code and data segments of the process. No, PCB doesn't contain any program code or data segment for the process. The PCB stores the process memory management information such as page tables and segment tables. Yes, PCB stores the page tables and segment tables as well. PCB stores crucial memory management related information including page tables and segment table which are necessary for process execution. Last B1, the PCB is used to track process scheduling information and CPU registers for process execution. Yes, this is also correct. The PCB is indeed used to track scheduling information and CPU registers which are essential for context switching, okay, and process management. You might have studied about context switching where we switch between two processes, process P1 and P2 for example. Okay, so this statement is also true. Okay, so your option statement A, statement C and statement D are right for this particular question. Okay, and which of the option matches that? Option C. So this is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, next. Which of the following tasks could be attained using syntax tree in compiler design? Okay, meaning what? What of the following tasks can be done, okay, using syntax tree in compiler design? Type checking, yes, we can perform type checking. Okay, next, code generation, yes, code generation can be done. Code optimization, yes, this as well. Error handling, no, it doesn't so you can say it doesn't formulate to support error handling. Okay, so your right answer statements are A, function A, that is type checking, code generation and code optimization. That is your option number A is your correct answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, next we have, in a token ring network, the transmission speed is 10 raised to 7 bits per second and the propagation speed is 200 meter per nanosecond. Okay, microsecond. The 1 bit delay in this network is equivalent to what? Okay, it is asking it is equivalent to how much distance. Okay, so straight away, first we will write propagation speed, what it is given. It is 200 meter microsecond, right? Transmission speed is given PS, that is 10 raised to 7 bits per second. Okay, so you just need to remember two basic formulas for this. Okay, that is your bit rate. You should know what the bit rate is. Okay, so first we will calculate the bit duration. Okay, or you can say bit time. So bit time is basically what? Bit time is equal to 1 upon transmission rate. Okay, or you can say transmission speed. And what is the transmission speed here? That is 10 raised to 7. Okay, so what you will get is 0.1 microseconds. Okay, now next, distance. Since we have speed here and we have time here, Okay, so distance we can calculate simply. Distance will be equal to speed, that is your 200 progression speed, and your time. What is the time that we got? 0.1. Okay, into it is, okay, into time, bit time we have got, that is 0.1. If you multiply this, you will get 20 meter. 20 meter, which is your option number A, is your right answer for this particular question. Answer A is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay. Let G of vertices and H be an undirected graph with L edges. Okay, it is L edges. Then the sum of degree of all vertices is equal to what? Okay, it is asking the sum of degree of all the vertices. So a basic formula is there. First of all, sum of degree of vertices. Sum of degree of all vertices is equal to twice into the number of edges. Number of edges. Now here the number of edges is given as what? L, right? So it will be 2 into L, that is your 2L. Okay, so from this option, your option number A is right, that is 2L will be your answer, will be the sum of degree for all the vertices for the given undirected graph with L edges. Okay, so your answer is answer A. Let's move on to the next. Okay, IP addresses are given and we need to identify their respective classes. Okay, it belongs to which class. Okay, so the first one, that is 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so this first belongs to what? You should able to identify. This is in the range what? 1 to 126. Okay, so this belongs to the what? Class A. Okay, so option number A goes here. Next, 210.20.30.3. Okay, so this is where this belongs to what? This belongs to class C. Okay, where the range is from what? 192 to 223. Okay, this is the class C range. Okay, so option B goes here. Next, 180 to 30. So this is class B. This is class B starting from 128 to 191. Okay, so this goes in class B. Option C comes here. And last 252 to 252, this falls in category 240 or 240 to 255. That is your class E. Class E. So option D comes here. Okay, so option A goes for, first option A goes for 3. Check the options. Okay, these all 3 gets eliminated straight away because A is mapping to 3. Okay, A is mapping to 3, B is mapping to 4, C is mapping to 2, and D is mapping to 1. Okay, so your correct option is option number B. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, consider the following. If P and Q are the two statements, then which of the above are true? Okay, negation of P and Q is equal to negation of P or negation of Q. Yes, this is right. This is De Morgan's law. De Morgan's law. Okay. Next, negation of P or Q is equal to negation of P and negation of Q. Yes, this is also right. Same again, it is De Morgan's law. Next, P into, P and negation of P. P and negation of P, always remember this, anything proposition and its negation always results in false state. Okay, so it should be equivalent to F, not P. So this is wrong. Next, P implication to Q is logically equivalent to what? Given P and negation of Q. No, this is wrong. Okay, it should be equivalent to negation of P or Q. Okay, so this is also wrong. Next, P or Q is equivalent to negation of P or negation of Q. Straight away it is wrong. Okay, so your correct options are A and B only. So option D is your right answer for this particular question. Okay, option A and B are only the true statements. Okay, so okay, so here it will come option D. Okay, printing mistake is there. Answer will be option D. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, so they have given arrange the following recurrence relations in increasing order of their capacity. Okay, so we need to identify the capacity first. So first is what first recurrence relation which solves to what Tn, that will solves to what O of log n, right? Next, Tn equal to 2t n by 2 plus n. This will resolve to what? This will resolve to O n log n. Next, Tn equal to 3t n by 3 plus n. This will resolve to again O n log n. Next, Tn equal to 2t n by 2 plus under root of n. This will resolve to O of under root n. Lastly, Tn equal to Tn minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so this will resolve to O of n. So if we arrange the sequence, so first will be A, increasing order if I am taking. First will be A, second will be E, third will be D, fourth will be B, and fifth will be C. Okay, so first you will be your option A, then option E, then your option D, then your option B, then your option C. So this will be your correct increasing order pattern for this recurrence relation as per the capacity. Okay, let's see which option matches this. Your option D matches this particular pattern. Okay, so your answer is answer B. Let's move to the next. Okay, which of the following languages can be recognized by push down automata PDA but cannot be recognized by DFA, that is definite finite automata. Okay, so let's see one by one. L1 is given. Okay, W belongs to 0 to 1. The length of W is even. Okay, so one by one, this is a regular language because the counting of first option is a regular language, because counting the length of a string modulo 2 can be done using DFA only. Okay, so L1 can be recognized by DFA. So first one will be recognized by DFA. Next, L2, this is also a regular language. The length of W is odd given here. Okay, similar to L1 but for odd length string. DFA can recognize this by keeping track of whether length is even or odd. Okay, so L2 can be recognized by DFA. Okay, let's see which language okay supports PDA as well. Okay, so L3, this is a regular language because DFA can simply switch states when it encounters either 0 or 1, right? 0 reject if or 0 appears when it encounters the first one, and reject if or 0 appear after 1. 0 appear after 1 because what is written here, all zeros come before all ones in W. Okay, so this also can be recognized by DFA. Next, L4. Okay, W contains an equal number of zeros and ones. Okay, so DFA cannot count an arbitrary number of zeros and ones, but a push down automata can do it because a PDA can have a stack that can be used to keep the number of tracks of zeros and one. Okay, so therefore L4 can be recognized by PDA. Okay, but cannot be recognized by what? DFA, it cannot be recognized by BFA because arbitrary values are there. Next, all ones come before all zeros in W. Okay, this is also similar kind of L3. Okay, so this is also a regular language and can be recognized by BFA for similar reasons as L3. Okay, so the L4 is the only language that is recognized by PDA and not recognized by BFA. Okay, so option D only is your right answer, that is option C. Okay, so answer C is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, next, arrange the following steps in a proper sequence for the typical process of a DNS query. Whenever a DNS query is done, okay, what are the proper sequence of steps? Okay, let's see. Query authority is given, query local DNS server, check cache, query root DNS server, query TLD DNS server. Okay, let's see first. First, what is performed? First, we query local DNS server. Okay, after that, local DNS server check for cache. Okay, checks in its cache repository. Then query root DNS server. Query what for what? Query root DNS server for the DNS. Next, we query TLD DNS server, and at last query authoritative DNS server. Okay, so the actual sequence is B, that is query local DNS server, then C, local DNS server check cache, then D, query root DNS server, and then E, query TLD DNS server, and A, that is query authoritative DNS server. So this is the pattern. Let's see which option matches this. Okay, your option last one, that is option D is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, consider the function in C code. How many times? Okay, how many times to be printed if the function is called with cal 10 comma 10? Okay, what will be the output, or how many time it will be printed? Okay, let's check the problem first of all. In this problem, we are dealing with a what? If you see the calculator function, cal function, we are dealing with character based certain condition. Let's understand the recursive call of the flow. Okay, because if you see, we are calling recursively again cal function. Okay, here. So let's trace back the function. If first I will call using cal 10 comma 10, okay, then since b not equal to 1, here since b not equal to 1, a not equal to 1, it will print what? Prints asterisk and call again what? A by 2, meaning it will call what? Calls 5 by 10, and this is the first case. First case for what? First case for 10 comma 10, where we are executing. Okay, again 5 comma 10, again this goes inside, right? So b is not equal to 1, a is not equal to 1, it prints asterisk. Okay, asterisk. Okay, we will also print the asterisk here. Again asterisk is print. Okay, so again 5 is divided by 2, answer will be 2. Again calculator will be called by, cal function will be called by 2 by 10, 2 comma 10. Again it goes back into the function, recursive call is there, right? So b not equal to 1, a not equal to 1, again asterisk will be printed, and it calls what? It calls cal. Now 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, see, these are a and b values, remember this. So again it goes inside and it becomes 1 comma 10. Now this time here a equal to 1, right? So it won't go inside. Okay, so it won't go inside, else b will be decremented. Now b becomes 9. Now again same function is called where a is 10, a is kept constant as 10, and b becomes 9. B becomes 9. So this process repeats each time and continuously reduce the value of 1 by each time. Meaning what? Again, it will call recursively recursively it will call again, that is 10 comma, okay, 10 comma 8. Okay, now B will be recremented. Okay, so you can calculate if for B equal to 10 plus 3 or for 2 and so on. Okay, so the number of variation it will go on is 9 into 3. Okay, that is 9 into 3, that evaluates to number of time it will be printed is 27. Okay, so your correct answer is option number D, that is 27. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, which of the following C++ statements correctly declares an abstract class? So to declare an abstract class in C++, you need to use at least one pure virtual function. A pure virtual function is declared by appending equal to 0, because it doesn't have the okay, function appending 0 to the function declaration within the class. Okay, so straight away this gets eliminated because we haven't appended 0 here. Okay, next, this statement class, first we will see class A virtual void show equal to 0. Okay, this is correct. Here class A void show equal to 0. Here we haven't used virtual keyword, which is very mandatory while we are declaring a pure virtual function. Okay, so our abstract class has what? At least one pure virtual function, and here virtual function is not there. So this is wrong. And last, this is itself is not a valid expression. Okay, so your correct answer is answer number A for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, arrange the given steps required for DMA direct memory access transfer in the correct order. Okay, direct memory access where what? The processor is not involved. Okay, so let's see what is the correct step. Initiate the DMA transfer request. This is the first step. Second is processor grants DMA control over the system bus. Okay, DMA control over the system bus. Next is what? Next, transfer data directly between peripheral and memory. No processor is involved. Okay, we transfer the data directly between the peripheral and the memory. Peripheral might be any device. Okay, and lastly, DMA controller completes data transfer and signals completion to back to the processor. Okay, so understand the DMA steps. First of all, DMA transfer request is initiated. Okay, to the processor. Processor grants the DMA control. Now the control is with DMA transfer. Okay, after that transfer takes place between transfer of data takes place directly between devices and the memory, and after the transfer is complete, it signals completion back to the processor. Okay, so your correct sequence will be A, initiation of the DMA transfer, then C, processor grants the DMA request, B, data transfer takes place between peripheral devices and memory, and at the last, DMA controller completes the data transfer and signals completion to processor. So sequence is A, C, B, D. That is your option number B is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, question number 63. In software configuration management, what is the primary purpose of version control? Okay, why it is used? So let's see one by one. To design the software architecture, no. To estimate project cost, no. To document user requirement, no, it is not used for documentation purpose. To control the changes made to the software, yes. Version control, the primary purpose is to control whatever the changes we are made, multiple users or multiple developers are making to the software. Okay, to control the changes, version control tool is used. Okay, so your answer is answer A. Okay, let's move on to the next. Okay, arrange the following steps of Arrange the following steps of feature drive development FDD process in the correct sequence. Okay. Develop an overall model, build by feature, plan by feature, design by feature, build a feature list. Okay. So let's start. Develop an overall model will be the first. Next, build a feature list. Next, plan by feature. That is your third. Plan by feature. Next, design by feature. And at last, build by feature. Okay. So correct sequence will be A, develop an overall module, then E, develop a feature list, then C, plan by feature, then D, design by feature, and B, build by feature. Okay, this is with respect to your feature drive development process. Okay, so which pattern matches this? AECDB, AECDB, that is your option number B is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, recurrence relation we have given, and the complexity respective complexity we need to match. Okay, so let's start. First, T Tn equal to 2T n by 2 plus n. Okay, so this evaluates to what? This evaluates to Tn equal to theta n log n, exact solution. This matches to the first one. Okay, so A goes for first. Okay, so A goes for first. Rest option you can eliminate. This B and D gets eliminated. Next, Tn equal to n by 2 plus 1. Okay, so this matches with O. Okay, this matches with what? So this matches with the third option, that is O of theta and exact solution. Okay, so check for B is 2 3, so this option gets eliminated. Okay, let's check the other option as well. Tn equal to 2T n by 2 plus 1. Option C matches with option number 4. Okay, option number 4, and Tn minus 1 plus 1 goes for O of n square. Okay, so option A goes for first, option B goes for third, option C goes for fourth, and option D goes for second. This is your correct matching pair for this particular question. So answer is answer C. Let's move on to the next. Okay, translate. Okay, in English. Okay, equation is given. Consider domain as real number for both the variables. Okay, we need to translate this. Okay, so first of all, for every, for some, for each, for real numbers. Okay, so let's see. Once it is written, okay, let me write down here. Once it is written like this, so it means for all real numbers x. Okay, there exists this sign, there exists y, there exists a real number y, there exists a real number y. Okay, a real number y, and this is simple. X is less than y, meaning what? X similar, I need to write down x is less than y. Okay, so what it is stating, for all real numbers x, there exists a y. Okay, there exists a y such that x is less than y. Okay, so from this options you can see first one is matching our pattern. For all real number x, there exists a real number y such that x is less than y. So your correct option is answer A for this particular question. Okay, so your answer is answer A. Let's move on to the next. Consider a schema. Okay, R is given, PQ, RS, and the following dependencies are given. Okay, that is P to Q, Q to R, R to S, and S to Q. Then decomposition of R, R1, P comma Q, R2, Q comma R, and R3, Q comma S is what? Is what? Okay, so let's check this. So first of all, for this decomposition, R into R1, R3, R1, R2, and R3 using the functional dependencies, two conditions are checked for lossless join and for dependency preservation. Okay, we will check this. So there is an intersection between R1 and R2. R1 and R2 is B, and there is dependency from Q to R. You see, there is a dependency for Q to R. So the intersection of R2 and R3, R2 and R3 is there, that is Q. That is what? Q. And there is a dependency from what? Q to S. Okay, if we go this way, Q to S. Therefore, the decomposition is lossless. Decomposition is what? Lossless decomposition. Lossless. Okay. For dependency preservation, all the given functional dependencies can be verified in either R1, R2, or R3. For example, P goes for Q can be verified on R1. Okay, using what? Using R1. Then Q for S can be verified using R3. Okay, similarly R to S can be verified on R3. Okay, and Q to S can be verified on R3 as well. Okay, so therefore the decomposition is dependency preserving as well. Preserving. Okay, dependency preserving. Okay, so it is lossless join and but the decomposition is dependency preservation. Okay, so the correct answer for this particular question is your answer A, that is dependency preservation is there and also lossless join is present in this particular schema. Okay, let's move to the next. Okay, which of the following relations cannot be decomposed into BCNF with a lossless join and dependency preservation decomposition? Which of the following it is asking? Okay, so BCNF is what? Is a higher version of 3NF. Or relation is in BCNF for every non-trivial functional dependency, that is, if it is X to Y, then X is a super key. X is what? X is a super key. While BCNF decomposition always guarantees a lossless join, it does not always guarantee dependency preservation. This point you need to remember. Okay, so let's check the first option. First option, what it is given? VW to X, okay, and WX to V, VX to W, okay, W to Y, and Y to Z. See, despite there are multiple dependency, by carefully selecting decomposition starting from W to Y, we can achieve both BCNF as well as what? Preserve dependencies. Okay, so multiple dependencies are there. Okay, but this can achieve what? The BCNF and preserve dependency as well. Okay, so this can achieve it, but we have to search for the those relations that cannot be decomposed. Okay, so this option goes incorrect. Next, we have FD as W, VW to W, and X to Y. Okay, we can, this one is what? This is a trivial, doesn't affect BCNF. X to Y violates BCNF because X is not a super key here. Okay, so decomposing this is lossless. Yes, it is lossless. X is common and a key in R1. Okay, dependency preservation, yes, both x and y are preserved. Okay, so this is also not the correct answer. Next, we have vw to x and x to vy. Okay, yes, it is lossless. Again, x is common. Okay, x is common. So, and a key in R1. Dependency preservation, no. A fractional dependency, this one is lost. We can't enforce it without recombining the relation. Okay, so this is one of the correct answer. Okay, so next, if we see here, lossless join is there. Okay, here as well as same as the first one. All the dependencies are represented and decomposed relation. So lossless join and dependency preservation is also there. Okay, so this also gets eliminated. Option number 4. So your only right schema that is looking here is that cannot be decomposed into BCNF with a lossless join, and dependency preservation decomposition is option number C is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, we have given match the list. Okay, algorithm and their what are their objectives. Okay, so let's match. Digit-star algorithm, it is used to find what? Shortest path in a weighted graph with any non-negative edge weight. Okay, so this is the option. This goes for A. Floyd-Warshall algorithm, it is used to find what? Shortest path between the pair of vertices in a graph with positive or negative edge weights. Okay, it is used to find what? Path between pair of vertices. So option B goes here. Okay. Next, Bellem-Ford algorithm. It is used to what? It is used to determine the strongest connected components in a directed graph. Okay. So C goes here. And Prince algorithm, we know, sorts elements by repeatedly moving them post neighboring elements that are smaller. So D goes here. Okay. So your option A goes for 2. Option A goes for 2. So first two options are there. This 2 gets eliminated. Then option B goes for first. Okay, option B goes for first. Same in both. Option C goes for 4. Okay, so this is your correct option or your correct matching list pattern for this particular question. Okay, so your answer B is your correct answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, so here again match the list. List 1 and list 2 is given. The activation function. What is activation function? It is basically is one of the key component of perceptron in most neural network architecture. Okay, so your option A goes for the second one. Okay, next, the learning method of perceptron is what? The learning method of perceptron is called the delta rule. Is called what? Delta rule. Next, areas of application of artificial neural network include what? System identification and control. System identification and control, and the output of perceptron is always boolean like a switch. It is always boolean. Okay, so A goes for 2, A goes for 2, all these three gets eliminated straight away. The correct matching pattern is option number A, that is A goes for 2, B goes for 4, B goes for, sorry, I I guess this, just a second, I marked the wrong one. Okay, okay, so yeah, so let's match the pair again. Okay, so option 2, A goes for 2, two options are there, C1 as well. Okay, so these and these get eliminated. Option B goes for first. Okay, so this B goes for first, A goes for second, B goes for first, C goes for fourth, and D goes for 3. So your option C is your right answer, rest gets eliminated. Okay, okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now again, predict the output of the above code. Okay, what we have a main function integer array. Okay, with 5 elements, pointer, integer pointer is there. Okay, print f, if you are not able to see it, it is print f %d asterisk p plus plus, and the second statement is okay asterisk p plus 1. Okay, what will be the output for this particular code? Okay, so first of all, whenever it is a combination of what? It is a combination of dereferencing and post increment. First, the value pointed by p is used, and then the p is incremented. Okay, in the first statement. Okay, in the first statement, first the value of p is used, and then it is incremented. This means the initial value pointed by p. What is the initial value pointed by p? It will be a of 0. First element of the array, a of 0. Okay, so your p, as soon as you do this asterisk p arr, that is your array. Okay, here also arr. Okay, so it's always points to the first element. Now if we have done this p plus plus, then what it means, the value that it is pointing to is used, and then it is incremented to the next element of the array. Okay, so it will, so this will replicate to what? arr 1. Now what is the value at arr 1? The arr 1. Okay, now it is incremented, but value first is used. Okay, this is post increment. Okay, so value first will be printed. Value of what will be printed? A of 0. After that it will be incremented. So your first output that will be printed is 1. Now next, p plus 1. Now since p is now pointing to arr1, and what is the value at arr1? It is 2. Therefore, p plus 1 will point to arr2. This will point to arr2, and what is the value at arr2? Is 3. The value is 3. So the other output will be 3. Okay, so let reframe it again. Once you do what? Once you do asterisk p plus plus, it was initially pointing to where? It was initially pointing to a of 0, right? Once we have done this post increment, the value at this particular place was used, and what was the value at a of 0 was? It was 1. Okay, so 1 was displayed, and after that p was incremented to now p is now pointing to a of 1. After that, what we did, have used something like this, p plus 1. Now a p value is incremented, so it goes at a of 2, right? And asterisk means the value at this particular index. Okay, that is 3, right? So your answer is 1 comma 3. That is your option number B is your correct answer for this particular question. Understood? Let's move on to the next one. Okay, consider the given number 45 base y, where y is the base of the number. Okay, some of the possible values of y are given below. Okay, so let's see this. 5, 6, 7 and 8 are given. Let's check for the valid base for y. Okay, so determine the valid basis for the y. We need to ensure all the digits in the number are valid in that base. The digits in the number are 4 and 5. Okay, we have this. First we need to verify we have valid digits. Okay, that is 4 and 5. Next, the base y must be greater than the highest digit in the number. In this case, the highest digit is what? 5. Therefore, the base y must satisfy the condition, that is y will be greater than 5. Okay, so y is greater than 5 means this gets eliminated straight away. Next, evaluating the option. Since y must be greater, so first option gets eliminated. 6, 7 and 8 are valid. Okay, 6 is valid, 7 is valid, and 8 can also be the valid basis for this particular number. Okay, so your option B, C, D are the valid base number base values for this particular number. Okay, B, C, D is your which your option? Option number B, right? So option B is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, fifth form, fifth normal form is considered with what? Joint dependency, domain key, multi-value dependency, functional dependency. Okay, with what? Okay, one by one we will see. Functional dependency is related to the definition of 1NF, 2NF, but does not directly concerns of 5NF. Okay, so this is not the right option. Multi-value dependency is concerned with 4NF. Okay, not 5NF. Domain key refers to constraints based on domain. Okay, but it is not specifically related to 5NF. Okay, so your joint dependency is in 5NF, and all the joint dependency are implied by the candidate keys. Okay, so this joint dependency fifth normal form is concerned with your joint dependency option. Okay, so answer A is your right answer. Let's move to the next. Okay, operating system concepts are there, and we have characteristics: paging, LRU, C-scan, virtual memory. Okay, now straight away we will use some elimination trick here and start marking the questions. Okay, as we know, virtual memory, why we use it? To extend the physical memory. Okay, so D goes for second. D goes for second everywhere it is. Next, we check for LRU. LRU is what? Least recently used. Evic's least recently used process. Okay, so option B goes here, right? For the first one, option B goes for first one, and option D goes for second one. So option B goes for first one, where it is. Okay, if you see, it is only in the second option, so rest gets eliminated straight away. Other paging we see. Paging, why we use? Paging we use for logical to physical mapping. So option A comes here, and your option C comes here. C scan is for circular disk access. Okay. So A goes for 3, B goes for first, C goes for 4, and D goes for 2. Option B is your correct match the pattern for this particular answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, a class B network on the internet has a subnet mask of 255.255.248.0. What is the maximum number of hosts per subnet? Okay, networking related practical questions you need to go through once you are going before your examination. Okay, these are very important. Okay, so let's consider the subnet mask first of all. Okay, so we have 255.258.248.0. In binary representation, you know how it will be represented. Will be represented as 1 1 1 1 1. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, then 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 and 1. Okay, then here it will be represented 1 2 3 4 5 and 3 zeros, and lastly the entire set will be 0. Okay, binary rate bit representation. Okay, so respective binary bit representation, you need to count this zeros: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Okay, so here subnet mask in CDR notation 16 bits for class B network, that is the first to acted, 5 bits for the third. Okay, so since for this particular network the total number of bits for the network that is given here is what? 32. Okay, okay, network bits that are used out of this 32 are what? 21 bits are used for what? The network, and rest host bits are what? 11 bits, right? Isn't it? So maximum host that we can have is maximum host formula we have, right? Maximum host we can have is 2 raised to host bit. Okay, 2 raised to host bit. Okay, 2 raised to host bit maximum host equal to 2 raised to host with minus 2. That is your 2 raised to 11 minus 2. That will evaluate to something 2048 minus 2. That is 2046. Okay. So the maximum number of hosts per subnet a class B network with a subnet mask given is 2046. Your answer is option number C. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, arrange the following language class in ascending order to their expressive power as defined by Chomsky hierarchy. Okay, so we need to just arrange this. So let's start. Options are given: context-free languages, context-sensitive languages, regular languages, unrestricted languages. So first, that is according to their expressive power, is option number C will come first. Okay, that is regular languages, then context-free languages, then context-sensitive languages, and at last comes the unrestricted grammars. Okay, so option C, regular language will come first, then your context-free language, that is your option A, and context-sensitive language, that is your option B, and then your unrestricted grammars, then that is your option number D. Okay, so the correct pattern is C, A, B, D, that is your option number A is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, next, a multiprocessor system with 16 processor is used to execute a parallelizable task. Okay, if the serial portion of the task takes 200 clock cycles and the parallel portion takes 800 clock cycles, when all the 16 processors are used, how many total clock cycles are required to complete the same task? Okay, so let's see. So serial portion takes a fixed number of clocks, that is 200. Okay, how much it is taking? 200 clock cycle CC for what? Serial composition, and for parallel it is taking what? 800 clock cycles. Okay. Now parallel, first we will identify the time. Okay, first we will identify the parallel time. The total time for the parallel portion is 800 clocks. When we are utilizing 16 processors, then the time taken can be as follows. Okay, so we will divide this by 16 processors, so it will give you around 50 clock cycles. How much? 50 clock cycles. Okay, so for the total clock cycle we require to complete is the sum of serial portion. Total clock cycle that is required to complete will be the sum of serial portion required and the parallel portion required. So serial portion is how much? 200, and parallel portion we calculate just now through 16 processor. We are requiring 50 clock cycles. So the total will be, the answer you will be getting is 250 clock cycle is required to complete the task. That is your option number A is your right answer for this particular question. Okay, let's move to the next. Okay, next we have, if L1 and L2 are context-free languages, which of the following is true about L intersection L2? Okay, so let's see one by one. L1 intersection L2 is context-free. The intersection of two context-free languages is not guaranteed to be context-free. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, so this is wrong. L2 L1 intersection L2 is regular. Okay, what it is stating, the intersection of two context-free languages is regular. No, why? Regular language are subset of context-free languages, but the intersection of two context-free languages can produce a language that is not regular. Okay, so this also gets eliminated. L1 intersection L2 is recursively enumerable. Yes, it is right, as because context-free languages are subset of what? Recursively enumerable languages. Since both L1 and L2 are context free, their intersection is recursively enumerable. So this is the correct option. Last, L1 intersection L2 is context sensitive, but this is kind of a broad statement, you can say. Okay, you can't validate that. Okay, so this also gets eliminated. So your option C is your right answer for this particular statement, that is L1 intersection L2, that is intersection of two context free languages is recursively enumerable because they are the subset of that particular recursively enumerable language. Okay, so your option C is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, now consider the following relations. One relation is given R. R is given as 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. Okay, which of the following relations are reflexive? Okay, so which one is reflexive? When first of all, you should know what is reflexive. When the node points to the same. Okay, points to the same. So if there are four elements, then you should be having all the four, that is 1 comma 1, and means you should have reflexive elements 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, right? 3 comma, sorry, 4 comma 4. Okay, so these are the reflexive elements. Okay, in a relation, let's find out. 1 comma 1 is there. Okay, then we have 2 comma 2, right? And then we have 4 comma 4, but 3 comma 3 is not there, so this gets eliminated. 1 comma 1 and nothing is there. 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4 is not present, so this gets eliminated. 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4. So all the reflexive elements are there, so this is a correct option. 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, 3 comma 2. Okay, none of them is reflexive, straight away eliminated. 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4. So this is also one of the correct options. So option C and A are reflexive. Okay, and which option states that? Option D. Okay, C and E are only reflexive, and from the given option, option D is your correct answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, arrange the following phases of database design in the correct order. Okay, how we design the database. Okay, so first of all, what we do is we do requirement analysis, that is option D. Then conceptually we design, that is option number 2, option B. Then logical design, that is option C, and then we finally design physical implementation, that is your physical design. Okay, so the correct pattern will be, first we do requirement analysis, that is option D. Then we do conceptual design, that is option B. Then we do logical design, that is option C, and then we do physical implementation and physical design, that is option A. So D, B, C, A is your correct uh, phase sequence. Okay, and option C matches this particular pattern. So option C is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, if a software project has 2000 lines of code and the average productivity is 10 lines of code per person hour, how many person hours are required to complete the software project? Okay, how many lines of code is required? 2000. Per person is what? Per person output is 10 LOC, 10 line of code. Okay, productivity rate is 10 line of code. So how many percent will be required? What should be the simple formula? Yes, 2000, sorry for this, 2000 lines are required and productivity per person is 10. So straight away you will be requiring 200 person, that is option number 200 person hours. Okay, so that is option number C is your right answer. Okay, let's move on to the next. Yeah. Okay. Two computers A and B are configured. A has an IP of what? 203.197 dot 2 dot 53, and subnet mask of what? Subnet mask is given 255 dot 255 dot 128 dot 0. Now B has what? B has an IP address of 203 197 75 and 201. Okay, and what is the subnet for mask for this? 255 dot 255 dot 192 dot 0. Okay, so this is the case given here. What it is telling, which of the following statement is true? A and B both assume they are on the same network. Okay, so first of all, you need to know, okay, how to calculate this, or summary of network addresses if we say. So if we calculate this, so this will be on network address that is 203.197.0.0. Okay, and this will be on network address 203.197.64.0. Okay, so conclusion that is that computer A assumes that computer B is on the same network. A assumes that B is on the same network. Okay, but B assumes A is on different network. This is your correct statement. Okay, you can see the addresses, and from that you can conclude it. Okay, so A and B both assume they are on the same network, so this can't be concluded. Okay, this is wrong. B assume A is on the same network, A assume B is on different network. Okay, again this is wrong. A assume B is on same network. Okay, as you can see, but B assumes A is on different network because it is not in the network host zone. Okay, A and B both assume they are on different network. This gets eliminated. Option C is your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. A vector processor with 16 lanes can perform an operation on 1024 elements, with each operation taking 5 clock cycles. How many cycles are needed to complete the operation? A vector lane with how many lanes? 16 lanes. Operation that are performs are on how many elements? 1024 elements. Okay, with each operation taking how many cycles? 5 clock cycles. 5 clock cycles. Okay, so let's calculate this. Okay, the number of cycles required to process this 1024 elements will be, okay, determined by how many sets of 16 lanes. Okay, so 1024 we will be dividing by 16. Okay, so you should get 16 are 9, 16 6 are 96 and 4 plus, okay, 64. Then you will be getting 64 set of operations. How many? 64 set of operations, and each set of operation takes one across all the elements. Across all the elements, it takes one clock cycle. So total cycles required will be 64 itself. Okay, so 64 is your right answer for this particular question. That is option number A. Let's move to the next. Okay, arrange the following steps in a proper sequence for the process of training a neural network. Okay, how we train our neural networks? Okay, we need to, okay, we need to identify the proper sequence for the same. Okay, so first is weight initialization. Yes, it is the first step. Next, feed forward. Yes, it is the second step. Back propagation, no. After feed forward, we do is loss calculation. Okay, after that we do what? After that we do back propagation, and then at last we do weight update. Okay, so your correct pattern is A, weight initialization, then B, feed forward, then D, loss calculation, then C, back propagation, and then E, that is wait update. Okay, so this is your correct pattern, and the option that matches this is A, B, C, D, E. That is your option number A is correct option for this particular question. Okay, let's start with the question number 85. 40 software professionals were interviewed for a job, 25 new Python, 20 new Java, and 7 new neither language. How many knew both the languages? Okay, so this we need to identify. So let assume uh, P with the people who know Python, J with the people who know Java, and B with the people who know both. Okay, so people that knew Python is 25, Java is 20, and and the people that know both, we need to find it out. Okay, so the people who know at least one language, either Python or Java, either Python or Java is what you can write it this way. People know at least one language. People, okay, know at least one language. One language will be total total minus neither. Total minus neither. Okay, what is the total value? 40, right? And the people that know neither of the languages is 7. Okay, so the people that know at least one language is 33, right? Am I right? Okay, so now what you need to do, only Python out of this 33. Okay, so 33 people are knowing at least one language. Okay, so can I write only Python, people that know only Python, sorry for that, plus people that know only Java, plus both people that know both will be equal to 33, right? Isn't it? Okay, since 30 in this 33 count, the people at least know one language. Okay, so we can formulate only Python, people that know only Python, only Java plus both equal to 33. Okay, so people that know only Python is what? 23 minus B, sorry, 25 minus B, because some people might be knowing both the language of Python category. People that know only Java will be 20 minus B. Why? Because few might be knowing both languages. And then we have B, and then we have 33. Okay. So if you formulate this, what you will be getting? Okay. 45 minus B. Okay. 45 minus 33 equal to B. Okay. So the people that know both the languages will be 12. How much? 12. Okay, that is 45 minus 33. Your 12 people will be knowing both the languages. So your correct answer is option number A is your right answer for this particular question. Okay, 12 people will be knowing both the languages. Let's move on to the next. Okay, which of the following are true about constructor in C++? Constructor can be overloaded. Yes. Constructor does not have a return type. Yes. Constructor must be declared as a friend function. Shall it be declared as a friend function? No, right? So this is wrong. A constructor is called when an object is destroyed. No, it is called when an object is created. Okay, so this is also wrong. So only option A and B is right. That is your option number. Option number D is right from the given, that is a constructor can be overloaded and constructor does not have a return type. Okay, so from the given options, option D is your right answer. Let's move to the next. A graph G with number of vertices greater than and equal than 3, that is n is greater than equal to 3, is a Hamiltonian graph if the degree of each vertex is greater than and equal to what? Okay, so basic definition it is asking, if a graph with the number of vertices greater than equal to 3, that is n is greater than equal to, is a Hamiltonian graph if the degree of each vertex is greater than equal to half the number of time of vertices. half the number of time of vertices. Okay, so each vertex degree should be half the number of vertices for formula. Okay, what it is, each vertex degree it's what, greater than equal to n by 2. Okay, so your correct answer is half the number of vertices. Answer number C is your right answer. Let's move to the next. Okay, match the list 1 with list 2. HTML, DHTML, XML, Java. Okay, Java is what, object oriented programming language for designing web applications, right? So your option D goes for 3. Let's see which option goes for D for 3. Okay, so rest straight away gets eliminated, right? So let's check. HTML is used for what? HTML we use for defining the structure of web pages. Okay, so this goes here, option A. Then DHTML is used for what? It is used for dynamic and interactive web pages. That goes here, option first. And your XML is used for data storage and transport. Okay, so option C goes here. So A goes for 2, B goes for first, C goes for 4, and D goes for 3. So your option C matches the matching list pattern for this particular question. Okay, so answer C is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, we have given a code. Integer array is there, and we have an integer pointer. Okay, int, that is referencing to the array plus 1 position, and it is asking what will be the output if we print this particular case. Okay, so let's evaluate. Okay, so first statement, this initialize the array. Okay, this is simple. Next, this ampersand ARR, this ampersand ARR gives the address of the entire array, first of all. Okay, and this ampersand ARR plus 1 points to the memory address just past end. Just what? Just to the past end, and then subtracting it to the address of the last element in the address. Okay, casting it to this, if we are casting it to integer pointer, right, then what it does is cast this into integer pointer, and then subtracting 1 gets the address of the last element in the array. Okay, so if we print what, this ARR plus 1, this fetches the value at index position 1 of the array. Index position 1, which is 20, which is what, 20, and this fetches what, fetches the value just before the address P. Now what is address P? That is the last element of the address. Okay, so the value it will be fetching is 50. So this fetches 20, and this fetches P minus 1 fetches what, fetches 50. Okay, so 20 comma 50 will be your output for this particular question. Okay, 20 comma 50 will be your output answer. That is your answer number B. Answer number B will be the output. Let's move on to the next. Okay, again we need to identify the code. Function is given. Okay, int xy, int z is that temp we are post incrementing, and if y equal to 3, return, okay, return the multiplication, that is cube of x, else do what, else we are recursively calling the function again. Okay, if you see here, so let's go through this. When f function 4,81 is called, temp is incremented. Okay, so temp is incremented to 1, so temp value becomes 1. If you see here, temp is incremented since y, okay, again, since y is 81, here the y is 81 and x is 4. So what is the condition if y equal to 3? The Is it y equal to 3? No. So this will go in else case. So else what we are passing, x we are passing as it is and y we are dividing by 3. So again we are calling to the same function with x value as 4 and y value as 81 by 3. That will be 27 we are calling. Again temp is incremented to 2, temp equal to 2, and y again it will go in else part because y is not equal to 3. So it will be returning what? It will be going what? It will be again calling 4 comma 27 by 3, that is 9. Again 10 becomes 3, 10 becomes 3. Now so now when 10 becomes 3, say y is still 9, so again it goes in the else function, and now this time y is passed as 3. So now when this time the y is passed as 3, it will go in if y equal to 3 condition, where x is multiplied thrice, that is x 4 into 4 into 4. Okay, so this returns the value 64 and level of recursion, but this return does not affect the global variable. Okay, so what is the global variable here? Temp was, at last the temp value was 4. Okay, this for first iteration the temp value was 1, second was 2, third it was 3, and fourth it was 4. Okay, so the total number of times function is called is 4, and the temp value, global variable temp value will be 4. That is your option number B will be your right answer for this particular question. Let's move on to the next. Okay, now question number 91 to 95, we have questions based on this para. So students, you can just go through this once and then we will start seeing the questions starting from question number 91. Okay, let's start with the question number 91. You can pause and read this, okay, whenever you want. Let's start with the question number 91. Artificial, okay, straight away answer is there. Artificial neural network. Artificial neural networks are inspired by what? These are inspired by human brain neural networks. These are inspired by human brain neural networks. Okay, let's see the next question. Okay, what is the role of back propagation algorithm? Okay, why it is used? Why back propagation algorithm is used? Basically, it is used to reduce the error. It is used to what? Reduce the error. Back propagation is a training algorithm that is used in artificial intelligence. The primary role is to minimize the error by adjusting the weights of the connection between the neurons. Okay, so the role of the back propagation error is to reduce the error. So your option A is your right answer. Next, which of the following layers may be more than one in number? Okay, question number 93. Which of the following layers may be more than one in number? Okay, so in artificial intelligence, artificial neural network, hidden layers can be more than one layer. These layers are crucial for network ability to learn and represent complex patterns. Okay, so your answer will be hidden layers. Okay, there can be more than one because these help in representing complex pattern and relationship in the data. Okay, and also in the passage it is mentioned ANN consists of an one input layer and one or more hidden layers. Okay, from passage itself you can straight away mark this answer. Okay, so option B is your right answer. Next, what is the role of weight in A and N? Okay, why do we use weights? Okay, so weights in artificial neural networks are used to adjust and improve the network's performance. Okay, this is given in your para itself. As the network learns, these weights are modified to minimize the error in the output. Okay, so the role of the weights are what? To adjust and improve the network performance. To adjust and improve the network performance in a neural network. and these weights are modified to minimize the errors in the output. Okay, so option B is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. Okay, now what is which of the following is are the application areas of ANN? Okay, so artificial neural network is used in what? Natural language processing. Yes. It is used in image processing. Yes. Pattern recognition. Yes. Speech recognition. Yes. Okay. So your it is used in all of this. That is your natural language processing, image processing, pattern recognition, and speech recognition as well. So your option D is your right answer for this particular question. Okay. Let's move on to the 96 question. Okay, again, questions from 96 to 100 are based on this particular paragraph. Okay, take a moment, pause the video, and you can look through the para, and then we will start with the questions. Okay, let's start with the questions. You can just pause the video and go through the entire para. Okay, let's start with the question. Question 96. What is the significance of Banker's algorithm in terms of resource management? Okay, what is the significance of what? Banker's algorithm. Okay, so it ensures all processes can finish their execution without deadlock. Yes, this is the primary significance in terms of resource management. Okay, such that all the processes can finish their execution without creating a deadlock. Okay, so option A is your right answer. It eliminates the need for process to request resources. No. Accelerate the execution. No. Minimize the number of context switch. No. Not guaranteed. Okay, so it is basically is to ensure all the processes finish their execution without having any deadlock. So option A is your right answer. Let's move on to the next. The primary goal of the banker's algorithm is what? The primary goal of the banker's algorithm is to allocate resource optimally. First option itself. To allocate resource optimally to the processes. To prevent processes from requesting resource, wrong. To detect and recover deadlock, no, not the functionality. To maximize CPU utilization, no. The primary goal, the very primary goal, major goal you can say is to allocate resource optimally to the processes. Okay, so your option A is your right answer for this particular question. Okay, let's move on to the next. What information is used to determine if a resource request can be guaranteed? Okay, so if a resource request, which information is used if a resource request can be guaranteed? Okay, so available resources and current allocation of each process. This information is used to determine if a resource request can be granted or not. Okay, so the number of available resources and current allocation of each process information is used to determine if a resource request can be granted or not. Okay, so option A is your right answer for this particular question. Okay, let's move on to the question number 99. Okay, which data structures does the banker's algorithm use to maintain the state of available, maximum, and allocated resources? Which data structures are used? If you have performed mm, banker's algorithm questions, okay, so you will be straight away knowing D, that is matrices and vectors are used for maintaining the state of available, maximum, and allocated resources. Okay, so these matrices and vectors help in determining whether granting a resource request will keep the system in safe state or not. Okay, so your correct answer is your option D, that is matrices and vectors. Let's see the next question, that is the last one. Which one of the following is not a requirement for banker's algorithm to grant a resource request? Okay, which one of the following is not a compulsion, not a requirement for bankers algorithm to grant a resource request? The requested resources must be available. Yes, this is a requirement. Okay, so this can't be our correct answer. The system must be in safe state after granting the request. Yes, this is also a requirement. The request must not exceed the maximum resources the process can request. Yes, this is also one of the requirement for bankers algorithm to grant a resource request. A process must be the only one requesting resource. No, there can be multiple processes. Okay, so your correct answer is option number D. Okay. Okay, students, with this we complete our UGC NET August 2024 paper. This part we have seen question number 51 to question number 100. Okay, so we have completed the entire question set from question number 1 to question number 100. Okay. So if you find this video useful, so do like, share this particular video. Do not forget to subscribe to Instant Seekh channel. More such PYQ videos will be uploaded and more videos are available on the channel. Do go through them as well as with regards to your UGC NET preparation, and keep following our social media handles, that is Instagram, Telegram and WhatsApp channels. Okay. So keep learning and keep practicing. Okay. Thank you. Jai Hind.